Hey everyone, Josh here, Solopreneur Grind. It is episode number 19, getting up to that big 2-0, March 15th on a Friday. Had a terrible sleep. Don't know why, couldn't fall asleep. And it's gray outside, so it'll probably be one of those Fridays. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, I still need a haircut. Yes, I might still put it off for a few days, but hey, that's just the life of the solopreneur. Hope your week went well. This one dragged on a little bit for me. Don't know why, but considering things are going well, I actually don't really know why. But anyways, that's just life. So what I've been working on, as you know, if you've been listening, is landing page for my new service offering is up and running. I have it posted in a few places, setting up sort of LinkedIn outreach plan today. The great thing about LinkedIn, I mean, other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, they're amazing too in their own rights. But depending on what industry you're in and who your target market is, LinkedIn can be so powerful just because of the search and targeting functions. So, by occupation, city, this, that, the other, work history, blah, blah, blah. So extremely fitting for what I'm doing. It might be for you. It might not be. Going to try LinkedIn and Facebook, see which one performs the best. As always, got to test and just go with what works best. That rhymed. So anyways, what I wanted to talk about today is I don't know what I want to talk about today. I haven't thought about it, but basically what I've been doing this week is a balancing act. So maybe that's a good topic to talk about. It's so fitting for entrepreneurs, especially solopreneurs, the balancing act of, well, number one, balancing all the day-to-day stuff you have to do. So that being things like sales, marketing, actually providing your product or services, administration duties, accounting, depends how much, do you have staff or do you not have staff? If you don't have staff, you're doing all of it. If you have a VA or a part-time assistant, I actually hired a part-time assistant in January, effectively a VA because he works remotely, but he lives in my city, because it gets to a point where you can't do everything. If you have enough business coming in, or sometimes even if you don't, there's not enough hours in the day to get everything done, right? So one of the questions then becomes, okay, well, my time is worth X amount. Is it worth it for me to outsource some things that aren't bringing as good of a return? So for example, let's say I'm a lawyer. So anytime I'm working on a file, it typically brings in around X amount of dollars per hour. Let's just say $200 per hour. If you're spending time creating bills and invoices and sending automated cold outreach emails and stuff like that, as opposed to sitting down and doing billable work that you could be for $200 an hour, then you're better off paying someone else $20, anything less really than $200 an hour to do the stuff that isn't generating that $200 an hour. Now, where do you draw the line? It can be kind of tough in terms of things like sales, because sales and marketing can generate more billable hours, right? So I'm talking more about administrative stuff. Billing, invoicing, accounting, bookkeeping, drafting proposals and invoices, stuff like that. That is not billable work per se, right? So if you can outsource that to someone else for less than what you could be generating yourself working on something else, then it's an easy decision, right? If I can pay John to do something for me for $20 in 1 hour, and that buys me one extra hour that I can bill out at 200 or anything more than 20, you're making money. So obviously a little more math goes into it than that. You got to think about things like onboarding them and how's their quality. Do you have to review their work, et cetera, et cetera. But very basic math is that. Now the what I'm dealing with right now is I have a VA. He's really good. I'll do another episode on how I chose a good one and how I onboarded him and how we work together pretty smoothly. But what I'm talking about in this episode is juggling in terms of now I have two service offerings. So I started my company about a year and a half ago, and it took about 6 months to find the right niche. And I talk a lot about how to do that and have one very narrow niche, start there. After about a year, it's been built up really successfully. Now I'm starting to add a second service offering. But the first one doesn't go away, and I have yet to outsource all of it. I've outsourced a little bit to my VA, but I can't outsource all of it. So how do I still maintain that one funnel, and then while trying to build another one? I know how. It's just easier said than done, right? So that's the current struggle I'm dealing with right now. I think the thing that's helped me the most is before you start the second one, have that first one down to a T in terms of company processes, have a guide, know how to do it in your sleep effectively, so that now I can work on the second part, the new service. It requires more of my time, more learning, more thinking. And because that first service is so ingrained in my head, I could do the process in my sleep. I don't have to stress about it. I still have to do it, but I know how long everything's going to take me. I know how it's going to get done. I know the result, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just another reason why I always say focus, really niche down on one service or product to start, know it really well. And then expanding becomes that much easier, right? If you start by going into 3 service offerings, let's say, it's going to be hard. You're going to be switching in between the 3, and some are growing faster than others and blah, blah, blah. And if you start with one, you will master it so much quicker, and then it's so much easier to add on more after. I know people get excited. I want to do all this shit right away. Start with 1, maybe 2, master those, and then it's easier to expand out. So anyways, that's it. This week was a long one. Happy it'll be done soon, but it has been a good month. So anyways, that's it for today. Have a great weekend. I'm out of town until Monday afternoon, so you may not hear from me Monday morning. It might be later in the day, or I might just wait till Tuesday. I'll keep you posted. If you haven't joined the email list, link is below. And if you want to chat with other like-minded entrepreneurs, the Facebook group link is also below. It's where I hang out. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them there. Anyways, have a great weekend. See you next week.